This controversial stereotype is becoming mainstream, and we're not mad about it. You can see it in the lifestyleization of preparedness. From EDC multi-tools becoming personal accessories, to tinned foods being reframed as aspirational staples, in rising communities both online and IRL oriented around skill building and resource coordination, and even in design with it influencing packaging and branding, as well as driving new products focused on preparedness. Indeed, preppers are coming out of the bunker and into the spotlight. You might soon even find a prepper within you. But don't call it paranoia. This has little to do with doomsday and everything to do with neighborly love. Because before we associated preppers with that rugged, weapon-carrying, hyper-individualist stereotype, prepping was normal. So how did we get from this to this?
Ironically, it was actually the US government that ultimately caused the creation of this stereotype.
This is Jesse Damiani, a foresight strategist and host of the Urgent Futures podcast.
After World War II, the US government was preaching a message of doom and gloom and encouraging people to build their own bunkers and instituting mandatory nuclear drills, all while participating in the brinksmanship that was making the prospect of nuclear fallout more and more likely. At a certain point in the late 50s and early 60s, people rebelled against this perceived hypocrisy. Of course, media pick examples of extremist preppers, which exacerbated this stereotype, making people think that the only type of preppers there are these kind of freaky fringe characters.
So behaviors that were once basic civic responsibilities, like keeping food on hand, building water literacy, coordinating with neighbors, they all got reframed as excessive or paranoid, all folded into a singular prepper identity and conflated with survivalism. But preppers and survivalists are not the same.
Whereas survivalists might be focused on things like civil unrest, government tyranny, and the prospect of nuclear fallout, a resilient community is looking at a much broader range of issues that could play out over longer timelines. Natural disasters that might occur because of climate change. My reporting is showing that there's a growing presence of what are called lefty preppers growing out of the mutual aid movement. And these communities are much more invested in community scale resilience. As more and more normal people share their baseline preparedness practices, it'll normalize these activities away from the survivalist stereotype.
So what happens when preppers go pop culture?
And then as a byproduct, we'll see a diffusion of other possible identities related to prepping. I wouldn't be surprised to see things like cute preppers and fitness preppers and health and wellness preppers.
As we continue to come to terms with the volatile times we're living in, preparedness is blending back into everyday life. And the result is not doomsday anxiety. It's actually quite the opposite.
You spent time getting to know your community, developing relationships and friendships that you wouldn't have otherwise had, while participating in self-empowerment, developing new skills, gathering new resources, and so as a net effect, they end up feeling much calmer about what they might face.
Stay tuned for the upcoming side report on this topic made in collaboration with Jesse. In the meantime, listen to Jesse's latest podcast episode where he dives deeper into this. Comment, "I'm so ready for access."